All right, Sultai Flash. For those newer to Magic, Sultai is Magic jargon for the 3-color combination of blue, black, and green. This is actually the archetype, maybe not this exact list, but this archetype, this style of deck, is what beat us in the last round of the last event that we played. Flash refers to this ability that we attach to creatures, which say flash creatures are creatures that we can play at any time. So we can play at any time, well, anytime there's not a 3-mana Teferi in play at least. So the entirety of the main deck of this deck is all cards that we can play out at instant speed, which is really sweet. Leaves you a lot of sequencing decisions. You're frequently passing with mana up and making your opponent make the decision of what they want to deploy into your open mana and then which of your answers you want to use to answer them. Out of the sideboard, we do have a few sorcery speed things that are important and powerful for hosting specific matchups. So we have some Legion's Ends here. We have some Unmoored Egos here for that Field of the Dead matchup. We've got a couple of Shifting Ceratops for kind of mirrors, as well as other blue decks. This card's good at running down 3-mana Teferi, so we can play at instant speed still. Let's go ahead and dive on into some matches with this one and see how it goes. This is a deck that felt very reasonable last time we played it, but it's been a hot second, and the format's developed a little bit more since we last played this deck. No, I think trying to Unmoored Ego 3-mana Teferi is silly. In general, I think the Black Splash is superior to just being straight blue-green. I think having the ability to interact with creatures that have resolved is very important. I'm going to go ahead and lead on a tapped Woodland Cemetery here. So this needs a forest or swamp to come into play on tap, so we can go this on 1 into Island, on 2 into untapped Hinterland Harbor on 3. And we have 2 1-mana spells here, so even if I play this tapped on 1, our turn 2 can be Opt plus Disfigure, which is nice. Don't really need a 5th land here, so let's just bottom that. He says he draws a different 5th and 6th land. Yep. Death Touch, make mana of any color. When it rains, it pours, chat. Black really makes Mystic harder to hit on 4. Listen, this isn't Trump's Twitter account. You don't just get to post things that aren't true here with no repercussions. Next time, give me some facts. Don't just give me your feels. Because the way mana bases work in this current standard format, we have so many good dual lands that, in fact, adding a 3rd color does not make green cards harder to cast on 4. That's fine. But I trophy this in response. It denies them the Explore, and I kind of want to get this Death Touch idiot out of the way anyways. It puts down the defenses on Nightpack Ambusher if they have a removal spell here, but I think that's fine. Now, one thing that's accurate, I will note to the person who tried to make the claim that it's harder to cast, our mana base is more painful, and very occasionally you will have a land come into play tapped that otherwise wouldn't have been tapped. But being harder to cast is not true because the number of colored symbols we have of each of those colors in our mana base are identical to the 2-color builds. This might be wrong. If they have like a Jade Light Ranger here, I'm gonna be sad that I pulled the trigger on the Frilled Mystic. They don't have Jade Light Ranger though, this game is over. Smells like the game has ended. Yeah, it's a lot worse. Assassin's Trophy is just so good right now. It's the best removal spell in Standard. Having access to Trophy is just so much better. The reach is nice, but which one hurts? Alright, so this is almost certainly a Disfigure out matchup. Losing Trophy, yeah. Aether Gust sounds great. Noxious Grasp sounds great. Want my lookouts, dispersals. This could be a Spell Pierce, Negate, or Dive Down out matchup. I could see that. I still have Gust and Lookout and Mystic to counter their bigger plays. And Dive Down technically like saves Nightpack Ambusher from a finality, which is fine. Maybe I want Disdainful Stroke here. Now I guess they had a lot of 2s and 3s. You can maybe see an argument for Legion's End being good enough against Wildgrowth Walker. Or honestly, maybe even just Cast Down. Just like more 2-mana removal. Yeah, if I have all of these as 2-mana removal though, that's probably plenty. Let's run it. Maybe on the draw I'm supposed to cut the Dive Down. And this is a great example of a hand where we talked about our mana base is a little bit more painful, even if it's not less consistent. We have a bunch of lands that deal us damage here. Yeah, I probably should bring the Cast Down in. I don't know, I like the Gust, but I should probably have Cast Down in my deck. I think I agree with that. So if they play a Jade Light here, we're gonna Scorn the Wildgrowth Walker in response. If they play Merfolk Branch Walker, I could go either way. Stone Cold nothing. Deal. In. This attacks. You may pay 3 to return a creature from your graveyard to your hand. Interesting. Alright, so do I start holding this back now? I think so. I think I want to just get in here while the getting is good. A lot of people are not huge fans of seeing all their spells countered throughout the course of a game, believe it or not. Seems fine, right? Did no one tell Jeff counterspells are banned for the next 59 weeks? So listen, we can add Teferi to our trophy case. Thank you very much. Mold to 5, incubation on 1. Interesting. It's been a hot second since I've seen that. Vanafear, okay. Spectral Sailor is a great draw because it lets me hold up Dispersal on 2. Dunk. Probably saving this Dispersal for Vanafear. They didn't want to activate my trap card, chat. I'll take an opt into an opt. Makes the Cutthroat bigger. I'll untap 4th land that doesn't hurt me. Sounds excellent. I think we're in a position to just race them here. If they hit me for another 3, this is getting bigger this turn. If they don't jam Pod Mom, I'm going to end step Frilled Mystic. And they did jam, so I get to do this. Gosh, having access to Noxious Grasp is just so good in this format. Spell Pierce, dive down, negate. Probably not very good here. They don't seem like they have a lot of non-creatures in their deck. Cast down versus Disfigure. How do we feel about that here? Legion's End seems out of place. They probably have an Explore package. There's a non-zero chance they have Wild Growth Walkers. Maybe I want the cast down to hedge that. Seems fine. No joke, Ekin, we got main deck Noxious Grasp the other day on the ladder. It was like, yep. Yeah, this Flash deck is like everything Magic players love playing and everything they hate playing against. Just like, what if only I get to do this and nobody else does? Please and thank you. What do we think of playing Cutthroat and then draw step gusting this? I think I like that. I think I like that. Because this only activates as a sorcery. So we'll let them draw for the turn. And then we'll gust her to the top. And then they put her on top, so hopefully they're not playing another one of her this turn. That's gross. Onward to game 3. What? We're ahead. People don't think we're winning at the moment. We're winning at the moment, chat. This card is really good. We are super far ahead at the moment. Down to 3. Let's do it. I like when the deck of the day is an easy pick. I like when a story comes together. This is tough. It's missing double blue, and it already has 4 lands in it. So I think I mulligan this, just because that's a hand that needs to draw lands and it needs to draw spells. This hand, on the other hand, is very reasonable. Now we could potentially get punished for bottoming the trophy instead of the Scorn there, but I'm really not a huge fan of giving people lands early, so if they're an aggressive deck, the Scorn's a lot better. Isolated Chapel, Breeding Pool, Thought Erasure. What if they're playing a Niv Mizzet deck? The old 5-color Niv. Smells like 5-color Niv. Drawing costs 4 mana. Not 3. Alright, are we done here? Feels like we're done here. Think that locks it up. Time wipe me, Poppy. Time wipe me. Huh? Nah, just a removal spell. It's possible I should have played out the second Sailor to get another hit in here. I think that's a very real possibility. Have a Worm here or a big Hydrate Crisis. So I still get to gain life and draw cards here, obviously, but I don't think I can let them have a 4/4. Now we're a little bit behind. A bit behind. Got kind of punished for using our Scorn the way we did to save the Sailor when we drew more Sailors and then they played cards that Scorn could kill. Is it worth it to dive down there? I don't think so. I think I'd rather just draw a card with my Sailor that's in play. Now, this one I'm going to dive down because it stops them from... It counters their spell, so they don't get to draw. a good pickup. This means even if they have like a Time Wipe or a Clarion, we get to untap and kill them. I like to not play out the other Sailor because I have a 2-turn clock with 4 power regardless. And if they do sweep the board and I didn't draw something like this, I wanted to have another card left over to like gas back up with a little bit. So, I think they're dead here. They can rampage me, I sack this, I play this, they block this, they take 3-4 and die. I think we got him by the skin of our teeth here. They didn't have the mana colors to cast Tyrant Scorn there. Their mana base caught up with them a little bit at the end. I'm gonna cut the Scorns. We'll Noxious Grasp and Aether Gust, both great here. Disdainful Stroke sounds good. Trim a Spell Pierce, I think. Rest of this seems fine. Hey, McLam, thanks for the 14-month resub. I appreciate that. Welcome, welcome, welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. It's a great answer to 3-mana Tef. It's an okay answer to 3-mana Tef. I'd be hesitant to call it great. These games are probably going to go long a lot of the time, and Spell Pierce is going to draw dead as the game goes long. So I'd rather just have a card like Opt that adds a little bit of consistency to my deck, I think. So lead on Sailor here. We have all of our colors lined up. Just looking for looking for a 4th land at some point. Trophy's a pretty good pickup. We have 2 threats, so even if they deploy like a 3-mana Tef here and they down tick it, I get to attack it for lethal, which is nice. If they play it and they plus it after I play another threat out, we can just trophy it, which is not bad. Opponent's start appears to be pretty glacial. Lookout's Dispersal is an excellent draw on our side here. Get to deploy this Spectral Sailor this turn, which will give us +2 power on the board. They have a Clarion. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Missing a land drop here kind of sucks. Is what it is. Still in an okay-ish spot. Hopefully they just play like a 3/3 Crisis here. I'm gonna hope they don't have a basic plains. Hey, Sig, thank you for the 2-month resub. I appreciate that. Welcome. Thanks for keeping me around. All right. Assassin's Trophy is Vindicate. Got it? Have I mentioned that Assassin's Trophy is my favorite card? The best removal spell in this format? I feel like it's been a hot second since I said that. Instant 2 mana, instant speed Vindicate. Oh, feels good to rack up some W's after a couple of rough ones. It's been at least 2 minutes. I feel like we could use a refresher. People have come and gone since then, right? Seems a little slow on the draw. Yeah, the big problem with Gates, yeah, they're playing vampires. The big problem with Gates in my mind is that the Gates deck, it's a word, the words I'm struggling to say. The Gates deck in my mind, its issue is that so many of the other decks are going over the top in very similar ways that it's no longer like the biggest dog in town, basically. Yeah, the Ambusher promo is really beautiful. I actually have one in a box around here somewhere. I got one at Gen Con. It's a pretty good draw. Hey, thanks for the raid, Blade Fury. Hope your stream went well. Yeah, right, Marty? We don't even get a pretty Ambusher on Arena. It's very sad. This might be a game that Ambusher lets us take over here. I think I'm bottoming that. Perfect. A land that doesn't hurt me here is actually a very reasonable draw. The nice thing about playing against the opponent's deck is they'll often want to Sorin pre-combat. So, they'll want to make a lot of their big plays pre-combat. So once they attack here... Yes, yeah, it's a lot less suspect than Shocking Id, right? Yeah, you have liftoff. I would like to block. Deal. They know all of our secrets, chat. Werewolves versus vampires, yeah, basically. I'm gonna shock this in so I can. Frilled plus Scorn. Like, I could trophy this first fort, but like, do I really need to? Like, the first fort is getting, like, thoroughly outclassed by Dub's Nightpack Ambusher. I'll be a little bit conservative with how many I leave back here because I don't want to die by mistake. This'll be a card we really want to keep an eye on in upcoming sets. This and Tool Smear. Because, like, with the Fairy Tale set in the fall, like, if the Big Bad Wolf gets a playable card, this and Tool Smear could, like, be a real thing, potentially. So we're going to cut some of these non-creature counters. We're going to bring in a bunch of removal spells here. I probably even just want to trim a couple Lookouts Dispersals on the draw. Just like be more removal based. I think that's fine. I have some Frilled Mystics. Maybe I even split the difference here between Lookouts Dispersal and Frilled Mystic. This is frequently going to cost me 3 though. It's my favorite Fairy Tale. I don't know. A lot of them are pretty have interesting morals and discussions in them. One of the things I actually did during undergrad, so I worked doing the technical aspect at a small theater on the south side of Chicago during undergrad, and there was a children's theater group that I worked on a majority of their plays for a while, so we did a lot of different fairy tales. Which, if you're in the Chicagoland area, the Chicago Kids Company, they've existed for a long time, even after me, and They do great shows. We actually take the kids up there to see them on occasion, now that my kids are old enough to go. Mulligan. The Beverly Arts Center is the theater that I worked at growing up. I think I'm supposed to bottom an Ambusher here. I don't know. This card's, like, good enough that it might be right to just keep 2 of them. It's very powerful in this matchup. I in fact did not destroy their company while I was there. Well, that hand's beatable for the time being. I don't know. Dire Fleet Poisoner is also good in this matchup. What do I get for a tier sub? You do get to bump something, Wafer Lord. So take a peek at the deck queue, and tier 2 subs get to bump something that's already in there by 10 points every month. They're scared, chat. They're scared of the Poisoner. We put the fear in them. I'm gonna wait on this, because I think there's a chance if they have a cast down, they might burn it on this to save their thing. Yeah, Legion's End takes it from hand, too. Legion's End really feels like this cudgel of a card to, like, 1-for-1 Growth Chamber Guardian. And have I mentioned how good having actual removal spells in this archetype is? It's pretty decent. A Cudgel. It's a very crude card. Like, the way in which it's designed, very obviously it's designed to beat one specific thing. I think this deck is great. One of the important things to remember, outside of the Yarok field deck that I've been preparing for the tournament, the decks that I play on the stream in no way resemble decks that I think are good, bad, or otherwise in the format. This stream is almost 100% viewer-driven content. So the things we play are generally what people are supporting my content to see. If you haven't seen this deck before, this is one of the dozens of decks you can find on my website, magicesports.net. Click standard decks. Lots of great stuff up there. Are we gonna try and burn me out? What? Okay, I guess they just want to attack. Weird. So this lets me do this and kill Sorin. They get to eat my Cutthroat, but they lose Sorin. I take some damage on the backswing too, but taking their Planeswalker out's pretty good. This is all I got. Alright, so we're taking 5 here. Second Sanctum Seeker is pretty scary because it means as the board builds up, my opponent has inevitability and I do not. Rude. So, I'm gonna let them move to combat here, because I think if I give them a bunch of triggers, they might attack. They're not taking the bait. Rats. That's pretty good. Alright, so I need to draw... If I draw a removal spell here, we're super far ahead. Because we kill this, smash this. I should work on being more specific, chat. I should work on being... This is the monkey paw shuffler here, chat. We got monkey pawed. That's what happened. Yeah, at least says text now, huh? Monkey Paw Shuffler is the name of my band. It's a good band name. Oh, if they drew a removal spell, we get destroyed here. This gives it death touch, unfortunately. Yeah, we're probably dead. I felt like we were ahead here in this game for a little bit, and then we just ended up hitting a couple too many lands. I gotta pretend like I'm playing paper magic and flick my cards back and forth. Come on now. Alright. Back to parity. Almost parity. I don't know. This is hard to evaluate. You know, I'm probably supposed to have just disfigured this now. This thing doesn't generate card advantage, but I'm at 5, so it can also just kill me. I feel like it was pretty greedy of them to not just throw this at my face. I feel like they're just supposed to dome me with this and then kill me with any other vampire draw. There's still 2 trophies in my deck and 3 Nightpack Ambushers, so... Skeletor or Revolt will do, Wafer Lord. Thanks for the support, I appreciate it. I did see your sub, by the way. Alright, let's just pass here. There's a trophy. That's true, I did bottom an Ambusher, right? So there's 2 in the top 35. Hey, Guzby, thank you for the 39 months of support. That's a long time. Thanks for keeping me around. Hope you're having a good one. Hopefully they're drawing some lands here too. This has been a slog of a game, and if we lose, we're up a game, so we'll get a game 3 on the play. Hey, Dark, thanks for the Prime support. I appreciate that. Welcome, welcome. Thanks for keeping me around. They're at 8 lands, so this Lookout's Dispersal is basically a dead draw at this point. Need like exactly a 5-drop or like a double spell turn, which is pretty unlikely. Any spells they have, they're playing out at this point. Yep. Tough long game. I disagree, Torny. Making someone pay 4 extra is a pretty extreme amount. And that game wasn't the result of playing Assassin's Trophy so much as it was just like that game went into double digits turns. Like, even without Assassin Trophies, your Lookout Dispersals are frequently not going to have text once you make it to turn 10. I think Finale and Call are probably just better, and you should play the better ones. I think being non-committal and splitting the difference is silly. Double Sorin Noxious Grasp deal. I was just about to say this is the part where the top of their deck is just hotter than the sun. Looks like it. Links are enabled in chat. The rule for links is act like an adult, you'll be treated like an adult. Act like a child, you'll be treated like a child and given a timeout. Check Scryfall instead because the Gatherer is butts. That's accurate though. I agree with that sentiment. Hey, Zombie. Thanks for the Prime support. I appreciate it. Welcome, welcome. Thanks for keeping me around. I think I'm just going to 9 here. Have a timeout, please. Of course, sir. Any consideration for op main phase looking for a land? No, I think I want to make this bigger. This is really aggressive.
Blood is my beginning, and it will be your end.
Like, your finest legion's end, please. That one is not so useful at this point. Yeah, Scorn is going to reset the Vanguard, which is nice.
Not my final demise.
So now, the real question here is, do I bounce this or take 6? I think I'm supposed to bounce it before taking 6. Thank you for doing a review of the new tournament structure. It was really helpful. I respect that you didn't feel the need to just give WotC crap just to be on brand or whatever. It makes me trust that your objective when calling balls and strikes. Yeah, I mean, I feel like anybody who thinks and I'm sure that that's something that people say, that I just crap on WotC to crap on WotC, but like, I go out of my way, and I don't even go out of my way. I make a point to say, hey, you did good when they actually did good. It's just, you know, like any company that's making a lot of decisions, there's a number of their decisions I don't agree with. So I feel like I don't needlessly rag on them. Time to restart Arena, though. Speaking of not needlessly ragging on them, the lag on Arena really needs to be addressed. It has gotten worse and worse with every patch. Please and thank you. Well, these are certainly cards. This is certainly a handful of Magic cards. Are you even a Magic fan if you don't needlessly rag on WotC? That's true. That's true. It's asking the real questions. Hey, thanks for the 4 months, Turtle Man. I appreciate it. Welcome back. Untapped Green Source is the nut here. It is the actual Stone Cold Perfects. These post-board games have been really weird. The dynamics and the way they've played out has been strange. It takes 4 mana to draw a card. I appreciate that, Waferlord. That's good feedback, by the way. I mean, like most fandoms, I think a lot of people, even people who do borderline into needlessly ragging on decision Wizards of the Coast makes, they're doing it because they want Magic to be better, right? Like most people who didn't want Magic to be better, they just leave. They just go play something else. Well, you know, you think we could talk him into playing poker? This card is absurd. This card is a big part of why these two are the reason this archetype's competitive. They're both printed in M20. It is not a mistake. Yeah, there's more where that came from, huh? my opponent thinking much of the same there. You wanna steal a little something, eh? Is this 10? I think that's 10. Maybe I should have left these back. Yeah, I think it's possible. I should have left these back last turn. Let's start attacking for 4. I say 4 and not 10 because they could... Oh. Well, my opponent should have blocked and paid 4. That's why I said I was attacking for 4. It's been a long set. Hey, Gromsky, thanks for 11 months. I appreciate that. Welcome. Thanks for keeping me around. So, this gets in a little bit of trouble if they have a removal spell, but I think that's fine. If they have a removal spell, they're going to get this anyways. Alright, 4-0. Slow and steady. 2 shots to get the 5 win here. And again, if you're someone who's new to my content and hasn't been to my website and you think this deck is sweet and you've been looking for sweet decks in Standard, this is one of the many decks that you are missing out on by not checking it out. If you haven't been to my website before, there's a link at the top that says Standard Decks. There's colorful pictures of the key cards from all the decks, and you click into them. There's deck lists for my current preferred iteration of the archetype, a description of how the deck works, and then videos of me playing that deck in the past. I feel like V2 Ghazi is largely unnecessary. Is my takeaway. I feel like we have enough threat density, basically. Alright, his opponent playing Nexus or Scape Shift. We haven't played this deck since Scape Shift became popular, so I'm not sure how we're supposed to feel about that. I put some Egos and some Legion's Ends in the sideboard to give us a better shot there, but I'm not entirely convinced that's going to be good, bad, or otherwise. Oh, we're playing a Flash Mirror. Okay. As you will. Yeah, I would bet that too. I don't know how much of a favorite, but we have done a little bit of damage to ourselves with our mana base, but I would bet on average we're going to be a little bit ahead here because we have removal spells. Probably also true. Being on the play in Magic is busted for those of you who are not familiar. This only gets bigger when we play cards on our own turn, when we play cards on their turn. This is also Jeff's pro tip for the Flash Mirror. Pro tip for the Flash Mirror. Play your instant speed cards at sorcery speed. Y2K, thanks for the 17 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. Hope you're having a good one wherever you are. What do you think? Watch it. Oh my god, I'm so dumb. I was just trying to auto pass and get value, and I responded to my own trigger. So I should have a 4/4. I should have a 4/4. Yeah, I was just trying to click through. I knew I wanted to do it at the end of my turn, so I lost myself a wolf, which is very likely going to lose me the game. Sin Bree, thank you for the 16 months of support. I appreciate that. Welcome. Thanks for keeping me around. Hope you're having a good one wherever you are. Yeah, I was like reading and talking to chat, and then like realized what I did as soon as I did it. So in response to this trigger, I'm gonna play a bunch of spells here. So this way, if they want to counter my stuff, they don't get to get a thing. Yeah, the fact that I'm on double ambusher here is probably enough. Yeah, so the Nightpack Ambusher trigger is what we refer to in Magic as an intervening if clause. So it checks that the condition for the trigger is met when it goes on the stack, and it also checks that the condition for the trigger was met when it resolves. So if at any, so when it goes to the stack, it checks. When it resolves, it's also checked. Your Yarok deck on your site, your preferred build mode. No, you should grab the one from Stream Decker today. We're like 2 or 3 cards different than the website. I'll update it tonight when I'm done. Got back to giving blood to the blood god, the Red Cross, so wanted to drop by. Dare Hulk, thank you for the 7 months of support. I appreciate that. Welcome, welcome, welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. How much of Flash did you miss? We are towards the end of it. We've been going for about an hour. It's been sweet though. We're 4-0 at the moment, I think. 4-0 sounds right. Disdainful Stroke sounds great because all of their important cards cost 4+. Spell Pierce, Dive Down, and Negate are kind of mediocre here, I think. I think I want just more cards that play to the board in this matchup. So I think I want to trim a couple Lookouts Dispersals here. And then what else? What else do I want to cut? How do we feel about Direfleet Poisoner? I feel like Poisoner is probably worse than actual removal. Although Poisoner does trade with their Cutthroats, which is nice. Cut my life into pieces. This is the last resort. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. We've not played against 3-mana Teferi in this set, believe it or not. Oh, you know what? I should probably put some Aether Gust in my deck too. Gust is probably a card I want. What can answer our change of the play versus draw? There's a lot of stuff you could change to balance out the play versus the draw. The thing I would like to see tried out that I think could be very reasonable is I would like neither player to draw a card on turn 1, but I would like the person who is going second to start with 8 cards in their hand when they're mulliganing. So basically you get to mulligan with more information. And check out what some of our options are here. Looking for some lands. Now, one downside our build does have versus theirs is that our mana is a little bit more painful here. In. It's actually a pretty good draw. Actually, you know what? I probably should have... Oh, they don't have double blue. That's so good for us. It does to a degree, extreme. It's more of a benefit than you have now. Like, think of the number of times you would have kept a hand if you just, like, knew what the top card of your deck was while you were mulliganing. It just makes you more consistent. And again, I'm not saying that my suggestion would guaranteed fix things. Like, I'm not, you know, ignorant enough to say that. But I am saying that trying something is better than doing the same thing we do now. Because being on the play in Magic right now is a pretty huge advantage. I think my opponent messed up here and should have played this on their turn instead of giving me the opportunity to Frilled Mystic. Again, if I can give you one piece of advice for playing Flash Mirrors, is play more cards at sorcery speed. Flash Mirrors, in my experience in Magic's history, generally give you a lot of rope to hang yourself with because there's a lot of sequencing when everybody's cards play at any point in the game. This felt pretty reasonable overall. I don't know that I'd really change anything. We unfortunately did not get to play against Scape Shift, so I didn't get to test out if like Legion's End and Unmoored Ego really helped that matchup. So that would be, if you're interested in playing this, I'd recommend testing it like Bant Scape Shift and Sultai Yarok and like really get a feel for like if those are cards that help you in those places. What is your reasoning for playing at sorcery speed? What I'm saying is you should be playing your spells when your opponent is tapped out. So for example, that last turn was a great example of why my opponent should be playing on their own turn. So like at their end step, when I played Cutthroat plus Sailor, I was tapped out. And while I was tapped out, they should have played their Nightpack Ambusher instead of letting me untap, play my 4th land, and then be able to Frilled Mystic them. That's what I mean by playing more at sorcery speed. Take the sequencing opportunity to stick your stuff while your opponent's shields are down. All right. You're gonna